Miss Victoria! I'll be going by tomorrow as well. Are you gonna be okay?
Tomorrow?
Yes! I'll be bringing Mom as well.
I don't mind her coming by, but Francis hasn't apologized to me about what happened the other day. So I'm really hoping that both you and Francis will actually consider what happened and take it seriously.
What? You're still talking about that from the other day?
I didn't want to bring it back up, but Minnie was injured from that. So I think it would be appropriate for you to apologize formally.
It's just something that happened between kids. Something is seriously wrong with you if you're gonna be bothering them like that.
Francis literally injures Minnie. You're not going to stop them at all, right?
Look here, Victoria. As someone who grew up in a nice household like you probably wouldn't understand.
What do you mean by that?
My parents never got along. They eventually got a divorce, and I was raised by my mother. I don't get along with my brother. After I got married, I haven't even seen him. He doesn't have any kind of relationship with any of my relatives. So I seriously just want to point out how I'm just a super lonely person that's been cursed.
I see.
So I get really frustrated when a girl like Minnie, who lives with no difficulties and lives a happy life, gets annoyed and bothered. So I don't think it's right to get mad at Francis.
I don't really get that logic.
Besides, Martha really gets along with Minnie. Martha is the older sister. Martha really is a good girl. So I can really understand why Minnie would get along with her.
That doesn't really follow your logic from earlier.
I'm someone who needs to be pitied. You really don't understand that, do you? I was raised in a household with no blessings. You would never understand. Considering you were loved by your parents and you get along with your siblings, you would never get it.
I feel like you're changing the subject here. You and your household issues. And the fact that Francis injured Minnie are not really related to each other, are they?
I don't want Francis to have the same experience as me. So I've been working really hard. But no one notices how hard I've been working, and they don't realize how I've been trying to get all of my relatives to get along with each other, even when I don't like you. But I want my mother-in-law to go by your house because I want her to be happy.
You drive someone who can't drive herself, so I really do appreciate that, but again, I feel like you're staying off subject.
It must be nice being you. You only see her every once in a while.
Huh? She seems like a great person. I don't see how that's a problem at all.
You just don't seem to understand what it's like to never be loved by your real mother. That's why I decided I would pour all my love and care into her. And that's why you should be kind and take care of Francis and I. What is that attitude? You really need to think twice, just because she was injured a little bit. You are being too kind to Minnie. You should feel bad for Francis and I. You should really be nice to us.
What the hell are you talking about? Francis literally shoved Minnie off the top of the staircase. I don't think that's something to just shrug off. There was a cushion at the bottom, so she luckily didn't get any cuts and only bruises, but she still hit her head, and they had to run tests on her. You think that's something to just ignore and shrug off?
Are you having fun bullying me like that?
What?
Francis didn't mean anything by it. You really don't have to make a big deal out of it. You were yelling at Francis and getting in her face. If anything, I feel like you should be apologizing. Are you ready to apologize?
What are you smoking? Seriously? In that kind of situation, you really need to be teaching her a lesson and making sure she doesn't do that kind of thing again. Frances was crying.
How could you get that mad at a crying 4-year-old? Were you that angry? The only thing that crossed my mind is how you're seriously twisted in the head.
Excuse me? Okay, fine, whatever. Please don't ever contact me again. Huh? If you think that I made the wrong decision to scold your daughter, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to deal with you either.
You don't have to put it that way. We're working so hard to try to get closer to you. You don't care about our happiness? You don't care about us? You don't feel bad for us at all?
I do feel a little bad for you. At least for Frances, anyway.
Well, what about me?
I don't care about you. You're about to be 40, and you're talking about how miserable and sad you are. I don't believe you, to be honest. And you live with your parents because you wanted to live with them. You didn't live with your family before, so you said you wanted to live with your parents to feel a parent's kindness. You convinced Mom, who wasn't really on board with it. You rebuilt their house into a duplex so that you could live however you wanted to live. How am I supposed to feel bad for you?
You don't have to say it like that. I don't feel an ounce of kindness from you. I don't have any freedom.
I'm not an idiot. You made Mom prepare all of the food. What are you talking about, living a tough life? And yet you have the audacity to sit here and pick and choose when they cook for you. And you leave behind food. I think you're actually the worst. That's why Frances always picks and chooses just like her mother.
That has nothing to do with you. You just don't understand.
What, because I grew up in a nice household? Was that your excuse? You always say that, so I'm starting to see a pattern. My father actually passed away when I was young, too. My father right now is actually a remarried dad. We had pretty tough times growing up, too, you know. There are no people in the world who are ever super happy all of the time. They just don't exist in the real world. So stop pretending you're this miserable little girl and ask for everyone to treat you like some kind of princess. It won't fly.
You don't have to put it like that. I'm the one that everyone needs to look after. I am the one who's most miserable. You just don't understand.
I don't want to understand. I feel bad for Minnie the most. She doesn't even realize what's going on. She just talks to her sister Martha, then Frances has to be jealous and shoves her off the top of the stairs. She has to be hurt.
It's because she took Frances' sister.
What? Martha's not Frances' sister.
Frances has known Martha long before Minnie has ever known her. But Minnie doesn't understand that at all.
Are you seriously asking a 2-year-old to understand social dynamics? Are you dumb? If you're not going to apologize, I'm going to be suing for damages.
Damages? When it's something that a kid did?
The parent is responsible for what the kids did. If that parent has no intention of apologizing, I don't think it can be helped at all. Also, I spoke to my husband and brother-in-law, only a little bit, but please don't come over to my house for a while. Actually, just don't ever come over at all.
What are you talking about? How could you say such a thing to me? I wanted to make my kid have the experience with her relatives that I could never have. Why are you getting in the way of my effort to let her have a fulfilling life? You just don't understand anything.
No, you don't understand. I don't care about your efforts. You injured my child. You didn't even apologize for it. Something is seriously wrong with you. Please don't talk to me anymore.
If I don't drive, then who's gonna take Mom to see Minnie and Martha? Are you gonna rob Mom of her experience with her grandchild?
I would rather that than my child be injured. Also, my husband is also a capable driver. It'll work out.
You really want to cut ties with me that badly?
Yes.
We were able to be siblings finally. Why would you say such a thing? I finally started to trust you as my sister-in-law.
A second ago, you clearly said you didn't like me. Also, when are you planning on telling your brother that Francis isn't going to kindergarten anymore?
Huh? You told him?
Yeah, I figured that he knew about it. You wouldn't believe the look on his face when I told him about it.
I don't believe it. Why would you do such a thing?
Frances always hits her friends at school, so she's disliked. And apparently, you were warned by the other moms, too. She doesn't want to go to kindergarten, so you don't make her go, right?
You make me suffer. For what? What pleasure do you get from this?
I just stated a fact is all. I'm sorry you're suffering. I feel worse for Minnie. She was suddenly abused for some reason. She's the real victim in all of this. If you think you're that miserable, how about you pretend to be the damsel in distress somewhere else? Please don't talk to us anymore. Goodbye. Nancy freaked out after that conversation and started throwing a tantrum around the house. Then she managed to injure her mom in the whole mess. Her husband realized the gravity of the situation. Her husband was warm and kind, so maybe Nancy was just being spoiled by that. Minnie was chased out of her parents' house. During the divorce meetings, Nancy was dissatisfied with the whole thing, so her husband had to take off work and go take care of Mom and Frances. Frances was apparently much happier as a result. The next time that Victoria met up with Frances and Minnie, she apologized like a good girl. Victoria had thought that if they just got a divorce like this, it would be better for Frances.
Hey Daphne, are you there? I just needed to talk to you really quick. It's actually about Dad. You see, so if you could get back to me as soon as you can, that would be really great. I guess I can talk about it a little bit here, but the thing is that I think he's starting to get dementia.
Wait, what? Kayla, what are you talking about? Are you serious about this?
Well, it's just that even though he's so rich, he's being a complete idiot about his money. Haven't you noticed that? He has no idea how he should be spending it or what he should even be doing with all that money. So I think it would be better if he just gave it all to me, don't you think? Actually, I'm already in the process of trying to get an early distribution of his will so that I can have all of his money before he dies. Anyways, I guess that basically all I wanted to tell you really.
Hold on just a second. What are you talking about? This is all so sudden. I mean, I know that you had been going to visit Dad at home more often and all that, but do you really think that our dad is starting to develop dementia? Is that something you really think is happening over there?
I really do. I mean, I would know since, like you said, I've been spending so much time here with him. But yeah, I think Dad has basically completely lost it. I don't know what else we're going to be able to do for him at this point. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but now that I think about some more, I think that he's completely gone. He's just an empty shell of the man he used to be. I think that it's probably just a matter of time before he even forgets how to speak. I guess we should have seen this coming, but would have guessed it would be happening so soon.
Kayla, I'm sorry, but I think this is all very, very strange, and I'm not sure that you're completely right about this.
What do you mean you don't think I'm right about this? I have no idea what you could mean by that. I'm just trying to give you my honest assessment. Besides, I've already started the process to have Dad's will distributed before he dies, but I guess the estate people need some kind of confirmation from you as well. That's actually the real reason why I reached out to you, if I can be honest.
So then you're really going to try and go through with this weird living will thing? Are you sure that this is something that Dad would even want in the first place? Because I really wouldn't feel comfortable giving any kind of permission to this if Dad wasn't okay with it. Can we please just talk about this a little more before we make any rash decisions? This is really important and we shouldn't rush this.
Ugh! Are you kidding me? What more talking is there to do? You know, this is why you and I never get along. I mean, do you really think that you're that much better than me just because you're the older sister? You need to understand that I'm the one taking care of our dad, and I'm only telling you what I see when I do take care of him. And what I see is a senile old man who might as well have his brains melting out of his ears.
Can you please not talk about our dad that way, Kayla? That's seriously disgusting. And I'm sorry, but I just really can't believe that our dad is as bad as you say. It just isn't adding up for me. I know that you've been going over to his house more and more, and I really do appreciate you doing that, Kayla. But I still think that trying to parcel out his will before our dad has even died just isn't right. I don't think it's something that we should be doing.
Well, thankfully, it isn't a decision that you'll have to worry about making since I've already made it for all of us. Our dad barely even knows what shapes are anymore. I'll show you something from my purse and he just stares at it like he's a baby with no knowledge of how the world works. And the fact of the matter is that you live so far away and just don't have the right to tell me what I'm seeing happen before my very eyes. That is why I had to take matters into my own hands and do what Dad no longer has the power to do for himself.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that I don't think that Dad can be as bad as you're making him out to be. I mean, we actually just talked on the phone not all that long ago, so it's not like I haven't been in contact with him at all.
Well, of course he can talk on a phone, but you just don't understand what was happening there. Dad's muscle memory just kicked in, and that's why he was able to talk to you on the phone like that. You may have heard his voice talking from the other end, but it wasn't really him at all.
I'm sorry, but that is very, very hard to believe after the way you've been describing what he's like.
Well, I'm sorry that you find it hard to believe, but let me just remind you that you're all the way over there and I'm here with Dad in person. Got it? I'm the one who has been watching over him, and that means that it's my duty to make this kind of decision for him. So I'm going to send you the documents for the will, and then you're going to sign them. You don't mind if I just ensure that I get everything that's in there, do you?
What on earth are you talking about now? Did you just ask me if I mind if you claim everything in Dad's will?
Okay, so you did understand me. Then I guess that means you don't mind if I do that, right? Just consider it me taking my share for taking care of him.
But you haven't even really been taking care of him at all. I mean, it's not like you're there living with him and watching over him full time. You've just been visiting him more often this past month. And before then, you hadn't visited Dad in years and years. So I think that if you really want to go through with this will dispersal thing, we should talk to a lawyer first.
Well, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I mean, this is how Dad wanted us to do it. He said that he wanted his will to be given out before he died, and so you really shouldn't go against him.
Look, Kayla, you can tell me that he said that, but I still just can't buy that at all. I'm going to call Dad again and talk to him about this. Just please don't do anything until we've done our due diligence about this.
But why would you even bother calling him? I already told you that you won't do any good. He's only gotten worse since the last time you called him, you know? I don't care what you say. I know what our dad wants, and I'm going to be moving forward with it. You don't have the right to tell me what I can and can't do when you live so far away and haven't been with Dad like I have.
Kayla, give me a break. You know what this looks like, don't you? It looks like you only started visiting Dad recently so that you could try and steal his money from him. And if this is really what you're doing to our own dad, then, well, I'm not going to stand for it.
Well, we just finished moving. It's all finally done. Consider it a final present from our poor senile dad.
What are you talking about this time? I don't remember getting anything.
Are you sure? You should check outside your door because from now on, you're going to be taking care of Dad, not me. Anyways, good luck with that, sis.
Wait, what? No, seriously, what on earth are you talking about right now, Kayla?
I mean that I dropped off our senile old dad on your doorstep and now you're going to have to take care of him until he dies. Meanwhile, I used up all of Dad's savings to buy myself a new big house. And don't worry, I promise to stay out of your hair from now on. In fact, you probably won't ever see me again since I've made sure that I'm going to get everything in Dad's will.
I see. So that was what this was about after all then, wasn't it? You were always only ever after the money, weren't you? And now you're telling me that you found a way to get everything in Dad's will, too? I tried to warn you that you shouldn't go through with that, but you just didn't listen to me at all, did you?
I told you that I was only doing what Dad wanted me to, so I don't get where you get off telling me that I was wrong. Of course, then again, maybe I was wrong. He was so brain dead and mumbly by the time I dropped him off that he really could have been saying anything to me. Anyways, either way, he isn't my problem now. He's yours.
So you're really just going to take all of our Dad's money and then just run away? You really are horrible. Do you know that? It's clear that you were never ever intending to take care of Dad. You were always only ever after his money, and now that you have it, you just dump our Dad on my doorstep and run off?
And just what are you going to do about it, huh? Don't you know that I've already won? I've gotten everything that I needed from him. So don't waste your energy trying to scold me, Daphne.
You both are horrible, you know that? I can't believe that your husband is also just sitting back and letting you get away with this. You're both just horrible.
Well, I'm sorry, but can you really blame me for not having any more use for an old fart like Dad anymore? That's why I keep telling you that he's all your problem now. If you're really so upset over how I treated him, then you can deal with him now.
Well, you should know that Dad is sitting right here next to me and is laughing so hard at you.
What are you talking about? What is he laughing at? How can he even form a funny thought at the laugh at?
Well, I got home a little bit ago to let our Dad inside, and you really have no idea what you're talking about at all. He isn't even close to senile. He's as sharp as he's ever been.
What do you mean?
I mean that he's here and he's talking just fine. He's very lucid and active, and he's been telling me all about what you've been doing to him. Then I showed him the messages that you've been sending me, and he just burst out in laughter.
Hold on a second. You showed our private conversations to our dad? What is the matter with you? Why would you do that?
And just why shouldn't I have done that when you were going to leave him here and make me take care of him?
But I mean, no, you don't get it. He's senile, but sometimes he has moments where he comes to. That's all. So just don't say anything to him because he still doesn't understand what's actually going on around him. Even if he says something about changing his mind, about giving me everything in his will, just know that he's not in his right mind at all, okay?
The only person who is losing their mind here is you, Kayla. Dad says that he was never ever going to give you everything in his will.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Of course I was going to get everything.
This whole story you've been trying to sell me about Dad being senile was just one huge lie. He's as healthy as he's ever been. But now that I know that you've been lying, it just confirms everything that I had been worried about to begin with. You and your husband were in on this together just to try and rob our father of his money.
You don't know what you're talking about. This is just one big mistake, I swear.
Why are you even trying to cover for yourself right now? I already know that you were lying to me. It's all over. I know now that you were saying Dad was senile just so that you could try and fool me into going along with what you wanted. But it's over. I know what you were trying to do. I see right through you, and there's no point in carrying on this charade any longer.
But I mean, he really was pretending to be senile? I swear it, unless Dad was just doing that to try and fool my husband. And I?
Well, you should see the look on Dad's face right now. He told me you just hit the nail on the head. He knew that you were trying to steal his money, so he told me that he was pretending to be a bit slower to see just how far you would go with this.
So you mean this is all just a big plot by Dad? And my husband and I just fell for it like that? I didn't know that Dad had that all in him. I can't believe that he would lie to us. I really did think that he was totally senile. But then, what about the documents for the will distribution?
Those were all fake. Dad told his lawyer about his plan to catch you and your husband in the act and asked her to draw up some fake documents. But, as you can see, Dad was never senile at all. He's as sharp as he's ever been to pull off something like this. The only reason I'm telling you all of this is to save the embarrassment and trouble of trying to go and get any of that paperwork processed.
So then, these documents are fake? Even though we got them from Dad's lawyer? But this doesn't make sense. I thought that I was going to get it all. I thought that all of Dad's money was going to be mine. Do you know how much money I've sunken into this scam?
Oh, please, you said that you were paying for all of this using Dad's savings anyways, isn't that right? Although you should know that you have until the end of the day to move out of your house now.
What are you talking about? My husband and I just moved here. We're not going to move out. This is our new home.
Well, Dad called one of his colleagues and made sure to stop you and your husband from living there at all.
What do you mean? What did he do? What could have he possibly done that is going to keep my husband and I from living in our new home?
Well, he called the real estate office and had the name on the deed changed to his. After all, it was his money that bought the house.
Wait, he put his name on the deed of our house? Can he do that? Is that even legal? I don't understand. I thought that I had everything planned out perfectly. How did it all come to this?
I just explained to you what happened. The only thing that you need to know now is that you and your husband have until the end of the day to pack your bags and leave. And now that Dad knows what your plan has been this whole time, you should also know that he's decided to leave everything in his will to me.
You're kidding me? You mean that I plotted so hard to try and make sure that everything in his will would go to me, but now it's all going to you instead? Does that mean that you're going to be getting all of his money before he dies like I was supposed to?
Of course not. Dad and I talked about that, and I told him that I was in no rush at all. Besides, all those documents were fake anyways, remember? So there would be no point in me trying to use them. But you should know that because of this, Dad is going to cut you off and never offer any kind of support to you ever again.
Wait, Dad is going to cut me off? How can he do that?
He can do that because of the way you and your husband were trying to treat him. Did you really think that he was just going to let this go? And just know that I'm going to follow suit and never ever talk to you again as well. Of course, it's not like we were even that close to begin with, if I'm being honest. But I just can't even stand to have you in my life after what you've done. I mean, how could you even try to do this to your own father and to me, your sister? You are nothing but a horrible, selfish woman, daughter, and sister, and you deserve whatever comes to you.
No, please. I really had no idea that Dad was just acting. I thought he was really going senile. I swear that I never would have done any of this if I knew that he wasn't senile and just his old self. Please, you have to believe me. You know that I wouldn't.
All that tells me is that you weren't going to try anything because you know that you wouldn't be able to get away with it. But we both know that it had been years and years and years since you had last visited Dad. Then all of a sudden you show up at his door because you think he's getting a little too old? It was so obvious what you were trying to do. Did you really think you were fooling anyone at all? It's not like Dad was even pretending to be senile from the start. But you just assumed that was what was happening when he would forget something now and then. So knowing that you were planning something and that you had leapt to the conclusion that he was going senile, the plan basically just fell into place.
But, I mean, so he really was just acting? He was never ever going senile at all? Are you serious?
That's right. He was only acting in a way that he thought would serve to fool you further. He knew that you were not the kind of person who would ever return to live with their parents in their old age.
But I mean, he didn't have to do that. That's so mean. It's not fair. We're family. We're supposed to be able to trust each other. How could he do that to me? I'm his daughter. How could he treat me this way? He's horrible. This isn't fair at all.
You expect him to be honest with you when you were literally trying to rob him blind? That's really rich, do you know that? You literally left him behind the moment you thought you had gotten what you wanted out of him. Anyways, I would quit wasting your time texting me and tell your husband to start packing up. In the end, the real estate agent that Dad was friends with did show up and tell Kayla and her husband that they had only a few more hours before they would have to leave. They were both in such a panic and begged for more time. But Dad was out of patience for their planning and told them to quit wasting their time and get back to packing. He was laughing all night about how he had fooled the two of them with his senile old man act. And with that, Kayla and her husband lost out on not only their new home, but Dad's inheritance as well. After that, Dad formally cut her out of his will and told her he never wanted to hear from her again. I have no idea what happened to Kayla and her husband after that, and frankly, I don't really care.
about the guy you're planning on marrying, Haven. I really like to think he's a 1 in a million type of guy. Like the kind of guy with the perfect looks, perfect body, and perfect style. And for me, that means he's the perfect man and should belong to me.
Huh? What are you talking about all of a sudden?
Thank you so much for bringing a man like him to my attention. I'm finally starting to believe that a thing like destiny is actually true. And that my destiny just so happens to be him.
What are you talking about, Gracie? I never brought him to your attention, okay? I just brought him over to meet everyone in the family before we plan to get married.
And from that point on, I really started to like him a lot. Haven, do you mind giving him to me?
Please don't say such stupid stuff. He's my fiancé. Did you forget that? I've no reason to be handing him over to anyone. I get that you always want whatever I have for some reason or another, but you have to understand by now that I will not give you someone that I love.
But him and I have already traded phone numbers with one another.
What?
And, for some reason, I'm starting to think that he might actually be into me already as well. Oh, well, of course he would fall for me. I happen to be the most loved person when it comes to everyone. So I knew I'd get his love as well.
Wait a second. You stop saying all that crap right now, Gracie. If you even lay a finger on my fiancé, I will not forgive you ever again, and you'll be on my hit list for sure. Understand that?
Did you know that your sister is finally going to get married?
I know that. You didn't have to come to me of all people and say that. Now why are you even talking to me in the first place?
Now what makes you think that you can talk to your mother in that tone? You knew from the start that your fiancé would choose someone like Gracie over you, right? It's only natural that she gets whatever she likes. And as for you, with not a hint of cuteness to your name, it's only fair that he threw you aside for her.
Is that really something you should be saying to your own daughter?
Well, if you had just figured out how to make yourself look attractive, then maybe you would still be with him getting ready for marriage, right? But there's no point in you trying to be somebody worthwhile now. And you will never be able to change the fact that your fiancé threw you away for someone like Gracie.
I'm so tired of all of you. All of you are freaking toxic. It's crazy to think that it's not just my sister that's messed up, but my parents as well, because they always let my sister have whatever she wants. I hate you all.
That is not how you should be speaking of your family, especially in front of your mother. God, you really are such a mindless idiot. There was no reason for your father and I to love you more than her when you act and think like that.
I understand that you and Dad don't give a crap about me, but the fact that my own little sister stole my fiancé from me and is now being backed up by my parents is just dumb. How dare you think it's okay to kick a dead horse like you have been? Just leave me alone already. I'm going to cut ties to all of you to make sure I never have to be hurt by all of you again.
You're cutting ties to us? There's no way you could get away with something like that. You are nothing more than a stupid baby that needs us.
I don't believe that I am a stupid baby.
Haven't you realized yet that you're the older sister? And that it's your job as the older sister to give everything you have to your little sister? Or are you still blind to the reality of things?
I realized that a long time ago, and I've also learned because of that I don't need a mother or sister anymore.
And I've always been trying to say to everyone that I only ever needed one daughter. I am so glad your father and I did such a good job raising Gracie. Oh.
I'm done here. Go ahead and say whatever else you'd like. I'm cutting ties with all of you right now. Goodbye forever, dickheads.
Why are you not answering my calls? You should be more than able to answer a call from your own mother.
And who is it that's been calling me?
I am not in the mood to deal with your stale jokes.
Well, I have no idea who you are, so can you please inform me before we start this little conversation?
I am your mom.
Oh. Why are you trying to get a hold of me when we've been doing so well staying out of one another's business for the past 2 years? You have a daughter that you and your husband both love way more than me, so go on and bug her about it. I'm not in the mood to be belittled by you anymore. Now leave me alone. Goodbye.
You really have not changed at all, have you? Freaking mouthy little witch that shouldn't even pass for a woman. That's why it sucks for me to have to sit here and ask you this.
What do you want to ask me?
Right now, Gracie is in a lot of trouble. She is seriously ill and will need a lot more help before she can get better.
What are you even talking about? Do you actually think I care that she's sick? Because I don't.
I can't believe you're not even worried about your little sister right now. I guess I should have known this is how things would go. Are you really going to sit there and say that you're not worried about your dying sister?
Just hurry up and get on with what you have to ask me. If you keep it up with all the emotional BS, then my energy will all go to waste before the day's event's over.
She's going to need a donor, an organ donor, because of her illness. From what we're being told, if you give her one of your kidneys, she'll have a very good chance of fully recovering. So, now that you're aware of that, can you please call the hospital and set up the date you'll give her one of yours? We have to get all of that handled soon because it might be a few weeks before the surgeon can take you.
What the hell are you going on about?
Have you not been listening to me? We are going to need one of your kidneys, so we have to hurry up and pick a date to prepare for the surgery. They said that if you're quick enough, they can get you in tomorrow morning for that surgery even.
What? What the hell is going on here? Are you actually mentally retarded or something?
I want to know what kind of nerve you have calling your mother that. The only one here, that is you.
So you're trying to tell me that you want to use one of my kidneys? And you want to use it for Gracie, who is deathly sick?
Absolutely. You are her older sister, so give her your dang kidney already.
I've been living the past 2 years of my life in peace after cutting ties to all of you. And here I am, once a peaceful day like today, having to listen to you about people I really don't care about. And about how you have the stupid request for me.
What is with you calling all of us stupid? I am just telling you how things have been and how they're going to be, right? It's only right for you to become her donor because you're her older sister. You can forget about how she stole your fiancé from you already and give her that dang kidney she needs.
I don't have any little sisters anymore, though.
What?
I haven't had any parents or little sisters for the past 2 years, so have you lost your mind or something? You're not even old enough yet to be going senile or anything, so it's really a shame you see you in that state. Thank God you're not my family anymore, because I would hate to have to take care of you when you do get old enough to be legitimately crazy.
What are you saying? Tell me what any of that means.
What the hell do you mean, give us your kidney? Who do you even think you are to me anymore to say something like that? You should be asking me in a much more polite tone, at the very least, if you're going to ask that from a stranger like me.
I don't give a crap about being polite when it comes to you. You're going to be giving Gracie one of your kidneys, right?
Well, no matter how you go about asking me, I'm not planning on giving her one.
What?
Why do you think I should give one of my organs to a complete stranger? Of course I'd be saying no to that. I don't know how many more times I'll have to say this, but put your head on straight and think for once, you crazy old loony.
Oh, who the hell? Is anything I'm saying even entering your ears? She is on her deathbed right now. Gracie is on her deathbed. She has an illness that is literally going to kill her, and you're not going to do a thing? Do you really still call yourself an older sister by doing that? If you're really her older sister, then you'll give her one of your kidneys.
Oh, geez, this is just dumb now. You and Dad were the ones that always cared about her over me, so would you please leave me alone now and figure something else out yourselves? I don't think you understand just how little I like the three of you buffoons. You're not even my mother to me anymore. Gracie isn't my little sister, and Dad isn't my father.
Excuse me?
Ever since you let Gracie just get away with taking my fiancé from me, I stopped thinking of her as my sister and as you as my parents. That was literally the last straw for me, and you guys pulled that sucker from me like it was free or something. So now that you understand my feelings, can you quit it? Just be quiet and go find yourself a donor like everyone else, by being put on a donor list. It's really stupid for you to even ask me things like that in the first place.
What kind of attitude is that? Have you forgotten that your father and I were the ones that raised you?
Oh, I forgot about that a long time ago, actually. Honestly, I was wondering if you guys ever did anything in the first place to show that you were raising me. That's how little I care. I guess I can thank you for giving birth to me, but that would be one hell of a stretch right there. Because ever since you gave birth to Gracie, my life has been like living in a labor camp. You and Dad always thought about Gracie all the time and put me on the back burner. No, wait. You just dumped me in the trash like you didn't even need me anymore.
We had no choice in that matter. You were the older sister and Gracie is your little sister, so...
So what? As a mother, you should be more than capable of caring for 2 kids. But instead you only focused on Gracie, and my whole life I felt like I was never even a part of the family. Whenever Gracie wanted something of mine, you would let her have it. I thought it was finally in the clear after leaving your guys' house, but that feeling of safety only lasted so long. Because not far down the road, Gracie was back stealing my fiancé from me, and you were just letting it happen. Well, I've got to cut ties to all of you now, so stop trying to act like I think you guys are anything more than strangers. Stop asking me such stupid requests. You're all just selfish pricks.
The fact that you would say all that to me is awful. So you're telling me that I'm really not like a mother to you anymore? Throwing away your family like that is the worst sin one can commit.
I really thought I made it obvious to you this whole time that I don't care for any of you anymore. Who was it again that my whole life acted as though I didn't need to be cared for and could fall second to my sister's wishes all the time, while also picking on me any chance they got? I don't really think it was me that threw you guys away, but you guys that threw me away. And that happened long before today. I don't even remember the last time I thought of you guys as family, to be honest.
So because of that, you're not going to help your little sister?
Ugh. Like I've been saying, she's not my little sister to me anymore. You're being a witch about all of this now. I have her blocked ever since she took my fiancé away from me, so don't think she has any chance of talking me into giving her any help.
She has always been telling me about how she can't get a hold of you. The reason for that was because you've had her blocked? Blocking your own little sister's phone number like that.
Jesus freaking Christ. She is not my little sister anymore. I have a new world now that I live in with new people, and you guys are not a part of it. So leave me the frick alone.
What do you mean? Huh?
I got married last year.
What? You got married?
And from what I've heard, Gracie ended up leaving the man she stole from me not too long after I left, right? I guess I was lucky to never marry that guy after all, especially since he was cheating on me with her right before our marriage. Freaking dick. But I'm happy I never had to deal with him again after he left me for her.
It's because of that man that Gracie has had to go through a lot of heartache. And if you want me to take the blame back even further, you were the one that introduced him to Gracie.
Huh? So that's my fault now. You're brain dead. I just brought him over the house one time to see everyone before we got married is all. If anything, it should be your guys' fault for letting her take that man away from me right before we got married. So why bother blaming me for something like that now?
Gracie has nobody else to rely on right now besides her family. So you should be just as much to blame for what happened to her as the rest of us. So can you please do something to make up for your wrongs? You happen to have 2 kidneys, so it shouldn't be a problem to hand one over to her, right?
I told you that I'm married now, right?
That has nothing to do with this.
It does, though. I'm pregnant right now.
What?
So there's no way I'd be able to give her one of my kidneys right now, even if I wanted to. But even if I wasn't pregnant, she wouldn't be getting anything from me anyways.
Are you serious? Are you really going to throw your family away like that?
You guys have never been my family, Lo. So how would I go about throwing away something I never had to begin with? The only family I have now is my husband's family and nobody else. Luckily for me, his whole family is made up of really kind-hearted people who have been supportive of me in every way. I've been able to tell them everything about what's happened between myself and you guys, and they listened and understood me. They've all treated me like I've always been a part of their family, and I'll never leave them.
Who cares that they care about you? They are all just strangers. You are my real daughter, all right? And Gracie is your real sister. Do you not want to stay with us?
I once did want to stay with you all, but that was before Gracie opened her mouth. Ever since that day, you guys have all been more distant to me than strangers. You're all like aliens. Like I will never be able to meet any of you in my lifetime.
No way. You're making it seem like you really won't help your sister.
By the way, there's something I'm wondering about. Why haven't you given her one of your kidneys yet?
What?
If a doctor said I was able to match with her, then that should mean anyone in the family can, right? So why am I the only person you're asking? Why do I have to go through all of this for people that I don't care for?
Well, you were the youngest of us all. I'm almost in my 60s now, right? If she were to get one of my kidneys.
Look at that. You don't give a crap about helping her and would rather force me to do it. You're such a sly little cunt. Just go help her yourself already if you care so much about her. Stop asking me like I would ever do something like that for any of you.
But you both are sisters, so you should want to help her more than me. Why are you not more open to that?
Ugh, go away already. It's gone on for too long now, and I need to put my phone down.
Wait!
This is the last time? What final things do you have to say to me?
When will my grandchild be born? Your child is my grandchild, right? You're going to let me see them, right? Hey, I really want to see my first grandchild. I want to hug and kiss them like I have myself a baby again. So you'll be able to let me see them when they're born, right? Also, once you've had the baby, you'll be more than willing to give Gracie a kidney, right? Right?
Wow. I knew it. I was just going to block you, but I wanted to see where all of this was going. But no, it's confirmed now. I've confirmed that I need to block all of you and never ever let you into my life again.
What? No, wait. I really do want to see my grandchild.
No worries. Already prepared myself to tell them when they come of age that I never had any parents, and that their only grandparents are my in-laws. They'll never know a thing about you guys. They'll never want to meet you guys. And most of all, you will never get to know a thing about them. Now good luck looking for a donor that'll work with Gracie. I'm blocking you now, you screwed up witch. Naturally, since all of them are like complete strangers to me, I never ended up donating a kidney to them. But soon after that day, word got out about how my husband happens to have some money, and due to that, those freaks started to try with all they had to find us. They went all over town shouting my name, trying to find me, and even started to put up posters saying that I was kidnapped and that if anyone saw me to have my whereabouts reported to them. But the thing is, my husband and I didn't even live in that state anymore, so I'm not sure they were going to have any luck finding me like that. And having already blocked all of them on every form of social media as well, of course, they were never able to find where we were living. As of right now, Gracie is still in the hospital hooked up to a dialysis machine and has not found herself a donor yet. I really hope that right now she's regretting her whole life and wishes that she had just been a bit nicer to her older sister. And I'm sure that really soon here things will begin to go sour between her and Mom. As for myself, I was able to give birth to a happy and healthy baby boy. Right now, I'm really looking forward to becoming a great mother. And if I'm ever to have another baby, I'll make sure that they are loved just as much as my first son will be.